Hey listeners, welcome to the Leadership is Changing podcast. My name is Denis and I'm your host for this podcast. Now, when working with leaders around the globe, I tend to ask this question: do you have the right people around you? Now, immediately they turn around and say yes. But when we meet again, a week or two later, they go, actually, I don't think I've got all the right people in my team. So today's episode is to talk about the importance of having the right people on your team. So let's discuss.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsas.
Welcome to the Ask Denis episode. This is a freestyle episode where I'm asked a question by our listeners, or I share my thoughts, experiences, and insights from working with many leaders around the globe. Hey listeners, I want to welcome you to this Ask Denis episode once again. And as I said in my show opening, when I'm working with leaders around the globe, I'm always asking this question: do you have the right people around you? Now, that's not just about the team that they have, but it's also about the inner circle, the people around them supporting them as well. Now, immediately I get that answer of yes, but when we meet again, whether it be a week or 2 weeks later, they go, in fact, I've had time to think about it, and actually, I don't have all the right people around me. Now, many boards and CEOs around the globe are thinking about, are they in the right line of business? And is it still relevant? The other thing they're thinking about is, okay, if we're in the right line of business, or if we need to change, do we have the right leadership in place to lead the change and our organization forward? So today's episode is really to talk about the importance of having the right people on your team. In any organization, the performance and outcomes are influenced, and I mean really influenced, by the makeup of your team. Now, the right team members can propel a company to new heights, while the wrong ones can lead to its downfall. Very interesting. There's a quote out there called "Everything rises and falls on leadership" by John C. Maxwell. So if you've got the right leadership, it can rise. If you've got the wrong leadership, it can fall. Now, the episode here today is really looking into the critical importance of having the right people on your team, highlighting how they actually will contribute to your success, how they can actually foster a really positive work environment. And the other key thing is that they can drive innovation and results. Now, when you don't have the right people on board, leaders experience things quite hard to get done. They're having to follow up all the time. People aren't proactive, and sometimes it's because they don't know what they're doing, or they don't have that experience, and so forth. So it's really important to make sure that people are out there doing things and actually helping the organization move forward. So the one thing I want to talk to you about is that really the backbone or the cornerstone of any successful team is its ability to perform tasks efficiently while also doing it effectively. Now, when team members possess the right skills and experiences, they've got the right work ethic, productivity goes up, it increases. Now, these individuals, they understand what their roles are. They can execute on their responsibilities, the things that they are accountable for, but they can do it with competence, and they consistently meet, and in fact, at times, they can actually even exceed their targets. Now, they're not just somebody who's going to be there to fill a position or take a title. They're actually going to make sure that their contribution to the team or the organization's goals and objectives is going to be really, really good, and they're going to really maximize that. The other thing is that the right team members will actually contribute a lot to making sure that there is a positive work environment. They bring not only their skills, but also their attitudes, values, and behaviors that are in alignment with the organization's culture. Now, this alignment really helps promote a sense of belonging and collaboration. And that's where everyone starts to feel or feels valued and motivated. When that kind of thing happens, it's just, the word I want to use, it's just beautiful. It's magical. Now, positive work environment also reduces conflict. It actually helps enhance communication. And it really starts to increase where people are happy in their roles, job satisfaction, and in fact, the attrition rates start to reduce. Another area is around innovation, and I talked about it earlier on, is that innovation is really that lifeblood of any business. And having the right people on your team means that you're having people who are not only skilled, but they also can be creative or they can be open-minded. And they're willing to question the status quo. They can come along and propose other solutions that may be innovative, but they also can take calculated risks. Now, notice how I didn't say they question the status quo only. In other words, they don't always push back. They will come to you with, this is where the solution, the problem is, here are some solutions, and this is where I think we should go, and the reasons why. So just having all that different type of thought and ability to think outside the box is really important for organizations in developing new products, new services, maybe even improving their systems or implementing processes and systems. But really, here's a key one. It's about helping you stay ahead in the market. Now, if you can allow all that kind of thing to happen in a safe environment, that's really going to encourage people to be more innovative and coming forward with those ideas, solutions, and so forth. Decision-making is a lot more effective and strategic with the right team members involved. You see, they're going to bring along a wealth of knowledge, maybe insights, different perspectives that can really help the organization have a more informed sort of idea so then they can make better decisions. Now, they're going to be capable of actually analyzing what's going on in a situation, considering a whole lot of different outcomes or way forward, and then what they'll do is they'll choose the best course of action or the best solution and so forth. Now, if you can bring all of this together, it's really amazing how you can navigate complex challenges, but also you can seize a whole lot of new opportunities in front of you. Another thing about having the right team members on board in your team or around you is that they can play an important role in building the organization's resilience. And so, why? Because they're adaptable. They've got a positive outlook on things and they can handle adversity, pressure, and setbacks. Today's world, where it's fast-paced, ever-changing, that whole business landscape is just changing all the time, they need to be adaptable. It's essential that the leaders are adaptable. You see, it's actually going to enable your team or your individuals to actually learn from failures or mistakes or for things that are not going right, but they can bounce back really well. And so if they can learn from mistakes, if you allow them to learn from mistakes, then what's going to happen is that they're going to be able to move forward and continue to grow as leaders and individuals. You see, listeners, the important thing here is to having the right people on your team. I can't emphasize it anymore. It's huge. They are really the foundation, the base, the grounding upon whereby productivity, that positive work environment, the innovation, the decision-making, and the resilience, all of that is built on that foundation. So if you can identify, attract, and retain talent, then that should be your number one priority for you, enabling to have long-term success in your team and your organization. But it's not just about having the best people in the roles. It's about having the right people in the roles as well. Ones that can work with each other, complement each other, and start to work towards a common goal. Time and time again, we've seen somebody who's like a star, and individually they're a star, but when they come into work with the team, it doesn't always gel and they can't always collaborate. So it's not always just about having the best individuals, the best people. It's also about actually having the right people around you. Because the whole synergy of the right team can achieve far more than the sum of its parts, making the effort to, really to assemble a great team really worthwhile in you doing it. Now, there's some things I want you to think about. Be mindful the next time you hire people into your team. Are they meeting all those things that I've just covered off? Maybe step back and look at your current team or the current people around you that's supporting you and ask yourself the question, do I have the right leaders in my team? Make sure that you bring the right people on board to help you and the organization move forward in a free way that's going to be very good, and it's actually going to be whereby you guys will go to new levels. Hey listeners, that's it for this episode. It's always a pleasure being with you. Thanks for joining me on the Leadership is Changing podcast. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsas. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.